Hey, welcome back to another episode of MTME. I'm Marcos,
I'm Andy.
and we are back on schedule this week.
On schedule. Episode 10.
Episode 10. Hey,
Two incredible dudes giving you honest movie and TV reviews.
and double digits.
Yeah.
So, this week we got The Night Agent.
Wow.
We got John Wick
Bam,
4.
bam.
And we got Dungeons and Dragons this
Wow.
week. We got a big week for you guys. And sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Let's do it.
The show we're reviewing this week is called The Night Agent on Netflix.
I think Netflix has done it again. I think they got another hit on their hand here.
You think so?
It's already been renewed for the next season. So after 2 weeks of being on the top, so we'll see.
I think it's a decent show. I wouldn't say it's a great show or if they've done it again show. To me it just seems like they're writing for the masses. It's very it's kind of vanilla, it's a basic backstab, US conspiracy, who done it, like who are the bad guys, but for me, I don't know, I've almost finished the show. I'm in the middle of the last episode. And everything that I predicted in the first episode has come true. So I don't know if you concluded that as well.
I agree. It has been pretty predictable. I'm about halfway through. I think I've seen 4.
Yeah.
And there's been some twists and turns. Like I kind of figured out the thing with the vice president. Some things I figured out as we've gone.
Yeah.
But just to kind of give you some background, if you haven't seen this or you're thinking about seeing it, it's primarily about a low-level FBI agent, Peter Sutherland, played by newcomer Gabriel Basso. I've never seen him in anything before. Have you?
No.
He works in the basement of the White House, manning a phone that never rings until it does.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the phone rings, he answers it. He's thrown into this crazy conspiracy that leads all the way back to the Oval Office. You don't know who's good, who's bad, who can you trust. He works for the White House Chief of Staff, who is played by one of our favorite people on this show.
Hong Chow. Whatever we do, we can't get away from her. She's in everything we watch, and we love her for it.
We do. Although that wig, I don't know.
Oh yeah. If you haven't seen the show yet, she wears a crazy silver wig. And to be honest, 5 minutes ago, I didn't even realize it was her until like right now. So I almost thought the whole thing until I realized who it was. But
I think it just shows her range as an actress, and I think she really does a good job in this role. Although obviously she's playing someone much older than I think she really is in real life.
Right, yeah, they kind of elevate her age a little bit. But, yeah, so, the funny thing, though, about it is that they call it the Night Agent, but the phone line that it picks up is called Night Action. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I was like, this would have been a better, I don't know if they maybe wrestled with that name, maybe if it was called Night Action, they maybe called it the Night Agent, I don't know. But it was something that floated through my brain about the show. But,
I do like that it kind of, and again, I haven't seen as much of it as you, but I do like how it's slowly kind of peeling back different layers. Like you start this whole thing about not Gabriel Basso, but about Peter Sutherland and how he has to help the lady that calls the hotline. Rose is the character on the show, played by Lucianne Buchanan. He has to help. They've got this thing, but then you get into the side story with Chelsea, who's the Secret Service lady, who's watching the vice president's daughter, played by Fola Evans Akingbola. She's really good too. I think the characters that play both Chelsea and Rose, I really like both.
Yeah, they have good chemistry on the show. I like how they introduced. I'm not sure if you got to the part where they introduced the other agent that took the bullet.
Yes, okay. Yes.
So and they kind of make a good team. Interacting together. Again, I don't want to give you too much because I don't know because I know you haven't seen everything, and I don't want to spoil a whole lot of things. But the dynamics of the different pods of the stories work very well together. I do how like they're connecting everything. It's it's traditional, like who done it, like they're peeling back the layers, like you said. But yeah, nothing that feels disjointed. It all feels in the same universe, the same area. Right. So,
but I do agree with you. I mean, I do feel like it is somewhat predictable. I think what drew me to this is not only obviously was everybody talking about it, but also it's done by Sean Ryan, who recently has done the show SWAT, which I didn't really watch, didn't really get into SWAT, but I really loved a show that he did called The Shield. I know we've had this conversation before that you never got to see The Shield with Michael Chiklis, but it was a great a cop procedural thriller drama type show, and I really liked it. So Sean Ryan was behind The Shield, so it kind of drew me to Night Agent. I was like, oh, what's he going to bring to the table? But I do agree with you. It is. I find it pretty predictable.
Yeah, it's predictable, but it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's a bad show, so definitely do watch this. Uh, but uh, but yeah, you could probably figure out the whole show within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There are a few twists and turns. Like I said, I'm towards the last episode, but
And when we get it done, we'll get back to you with an update for sure to give you see if let you know if our ratings for now change. What's your rating right now?
I'd probably give it a 6,
Okay.
like a little bit above average or so.
I was thinking a 7, so
Yeah.
I think we're pretty close. I'm always higher than you are anyway.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, usually. So,
But yeah.
yeah, if the Night Agents, check it out.
And thank you for those of you that voted. We actually selected this one because of the votes on our Facebook page. Night Agent had more votes than any other show. So thank you to those of you that participated in that poll too.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, guys.
And Keanu Reeves is back again for John Wick 4.
John Wick number 4. Yeah, John Wick. If you haven't seen John Wick, please do, because the action in this movie is top notch. The choreography, the fighting, it's just amazing, top to bottom.
High octane for sure.
High octane.
This one I think has a little bit more of a plot. You've got it goes back to for me, John Wick 2 and 3 were very action oriented, which is fine, but they kind of lack that plot that I think 1 and 4 have. This one you've got John Wick coming back to fight against the High Table so that he can gain his freedom and get away from this crazy lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been the overarching story, is him just trying to get out, but they always find a way to pull him back in and get him back in the fight, and for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean that just lends to the action of the story where he's just got to fight. He's like the devil. What did you say? He's the guy you sent to kill the boogeyman.
Right.
Like in the first movie or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, he doesn't disappoint at all in this movie.
And you got Ian McShane's back, Lance Reddick's back, Lawrence Fishburne. You've got this John Wick 4. You've got the introduction of Bill Skarsgård. You've got Shamir Anderson, who I like the character, but I don't know. He was the military guy that had the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the character. I don't know. I couldn't. I wanted more of that character.
Yeah,
so maybe
a little underutilized for his specialty.
Maybe a spinoff or something.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how they really explained how he was so good at finding John Wick, because that was kind of like his value to the whole story, or to the bad guys, was like how are you finding me? Like he's just like this crazy tracker.
Right.
And I wish he would have gone into more of how he was able to do a lot of that. But
I did read that they are doing some John Wick spinoffs. Anna de Armas is actually going to play kind of like a female spinoff of John Wick, but it's supposed to be a John Wick. So we'll see what happens with that.
I haven't heard about that. That's cool.
Yeah. But obviously, I mean, when this movie started, it was kind of an independent movie. The first one kind of gained traction.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do so well at the box office, but it kind of became, I guess, maybe a cult hit. Everyone liked it. Everyone watched it.
Yeah.
And now here we got John Wick 4 making $75 million its opening weekend at the box office.
Yeah, I don't blame the viewers for going, because the first 3 just kind of set this one up for success. But just for me though, looking at the action, comparing the 4th one to the first 3, they seemed a little slow. Like there was some kind of like missteps where they kind of like stopped and then they took a punch. So it was a little more telegraphed. I don't know if they switched up the director or the coordinators. But
I just think this one was too long.
That was too long.
It was 3 hours of just some things that got to the point where it was a little ridiculous for me. I mean, I like a good action movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a couple scenes like there's a scene where the cars are racing around the Arc de Triomphe, and it's like it just kept going on and on and on. And I thought by the time there should have been one point in time where there was a blockade and no more cars were coming, and then the one that just was painful for me almost was the staircase one. Oh. It's like you climb 1,000 stairs, you make it to the end, you kill 1,000 men on the way up, you get pushed all the way back down.
Yeah,
you climb up 1,000 stairs again, and I'm like, how much longer? I mean,
that whole sequence was wow. Pretty long. But I know I kind of liked it. I mean, I for this genre, for this movie series, I'm expecting kind of the over the top, ridiculous fighting. That's kind of what you go there for. It's like the Fast and the Furious franchise. You just go just to watch the action. It really doesn't need to make a whole lot of sense.
I mean, I agree. And the action's fun and it's fun, but I just felt maybe it, like you said, because some of it seemed like it wasn't anything new. It was just one fight sequence after a fight sequence without anything too new and different. Maybe that's why I felt like it was too long. But said to that, there definitely was a point to it, because obviously when he got up the hill, he got to meet this character. He got to have the duel. He got to finally see some sort of ending here to the maybe.
Were you surprised by the ending?
Not really.
No, neither was I.
No.
And what was weird is that I was in a theater packed, and everybody kind of cheered when and if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but John Wick kills the bad guy in the movie. I mean,
Right.
it's probably not a spoiler. It's probably obvious
Yeah.
what's going to
Bill
happen.
Skarsgård's character.
Bill Skarsgård, yeah,
He kills it.
yeah, he kills it, yeah, and. But for me, I was like, you didn't see that coming. Like he shot him in the shoulder. Like he didn't like they weren't trying to kill each other in that last duel. They were maiming each other, setting it up for like that kill at the very end. But no, it's a fast paced movie, and we want to give it a score now. Or?
I do, but before I give a score, I do want to give a shout out to Lance Reddick, who was in this movie. He passed away. This was his last movie. He did a good job in this movie as far as a long career of things that he's been in.
Right.
I really liked him in the show Fringe that was on for a while. But this was his last role, so shout out to him. I think just because I didn't feel like there was anything really new. It was fun. It was entertaining, but I think my rating's going to be a 6.
As we're going to flip-flop, I'm going to go 7 on this. I probably would have given, the other 3 movies maybe like around an 8. Maybe it's maybe a 7 or 8, maybe, but this, I think it's still a solid 7. I think it's, well worth the time. As long as it continue to make these action movies in this way, I'll enjoy seeing them. So,
see, for me, the ratings would be 8 for the first one, 5 for 2 and 3, and we're back up to a 6 for number 4. So, yeah.
But yeah, John Wick 4, go check it out. And the second movie we're reviewing is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I
was just gonna say, and coincidentally, this movie is just dethroned the last movie we talked about, John Wick at the box office. Dungeons and Dragons, with almost $50 million at the box office this weekend, is a new box office champ, putting John Wick into second place. So
it's funny how they always say it's the top of the box office, but it's constantly just rotating. It's just whatever's out new. It's very rare that a movie has like a lot of staying power.
I know lately though, because it's been a long time since we've seen a big change. It's been kind of staying the same since COVID. So I like to see that this is happening again.
Yeah.
Because what it means is that people are going back to the movies.
Yeah. And funny enough, at the beginning of Dungeons and Dragons, they have a little intro of people coming back to the movies and being the heroes of cinema. That the moviegoers are coming back and sitting in seats. So that it's just, I guess this is the commentary now. Just people trying to get people back in the theaters. And this is not sponsored by Regal or anything, but I have the movie pass.
We both do.
Which has helped us out a lot for doing this show. But anyways, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep. How we digress.
Back to the point of the show. But what did you think, Andy?
For me, it was kind of a throwback to like an 80s adventure movie. I mean, you have Edgin and Holga, Edgin Chris Pine, Holga Michelle Rodriguez, embarking on this quest to find a lost relic, but really what they're trying to do is they're trying to save Edgin's daughter, Chris Pine's daughter, Kira, played by Chloe Coleman, who was in My Spy with Dave Bautista. So you've got them going on a quest trying to save the daughter, and for me, it was a throwback. It reminded me of one of those fun, action-packed 80s movies that you go to where you have this group that's thrown together that's trying to go on a quest and find something. And I'll be honest, I know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons. I did not play the game. I never played the game. I was interested in it, but I never really knew much about it. So
right.
I thought this movie for me was going to be, ugh. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it.
No, this movie was awesome. I loved it. Like, I'm into fantasy. I love things like that. Like you said, it's like a throwback to like the Goonies or Willow, where it's just an adventure. It's an adventure for the group. There's a lot of comedy in it. Everything is well written.
Absolute adventure. And from what I've been reading, fans of the game are really going to like this because it's the fact that the characters and the places, all those things are included, but they did a really good job without including too many unnecessary details for people like maybe like us that never played the game could still enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm familiar with like some of the enemies because they're used in similar games. A lot of other games that are out now have drawn a lot of inspiration from Dungeons and Dragons. So looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is where they probably got this for that game or something. And it was a lot of fun to see all that happening. The special effects was great.
Michelle Rodriguez's character reminded me a little bit of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
She was the female Drax, but I think she did a good job.
Yeah.
And then you got Hugh Grant popping up again as the bad guy again. He's been playing the bad guy a lot lately.
Yeah, he's getting rid of his being the love interest in movies. Now
There you go. He's graduated to being the evil bad guy.
evil bad guy.
And then the guy from Bridgerton, I never say his name right. Regé Jean Page plays Zinc is his name, but he's like
the paladin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I loved his character. I loved how honest he was. You know, even though in the movie he has like his power or his abilities come from the dark side, he's managed to bring it to the light and be a man of the people, you know, and saving everybody, because everybody knows who he is, and everybody's heard of him. In the movie.
And then you also have Justice Smith, who kind of plays the same. He kind of plays the nerdy character, but this time he's Simon the Sorcerer. He does a good job. You got Sophia Lillis, who plays Dork. I don't know what kind of creature she is. I forgot.
The shapeshifting one. She's like the druid.
Yes, the
druid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I love that owl bear creature.
Yeah.
And I actually had to look it up, and an owl bear is definitely something in Dungeons and Dragons. So I was like, that's cool. So,
yeah, a lot of the things in there. A buddy of mine that I saw it with, we didn't see it together, but he was talking about there was an eyeball monster too that's usually on the cover of most of the books. And I do remember seeing that eyeball character, and I was actually a little disappointed it wasn't in there. If you know what it is, post it in the comments. I don't know what the thing's called, but I think it's fairly familiar in the game. But
I agree with you. I really, really enjoyed this movie, and I thought I was gonna hate it. So to go into a movie with kind of low expectations and then be like, wow, this is a good movie. I mean, there was that scene with, and I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but there was a scene with the fat dragon that just made me laugh my head off. I was like, this is hysterical.
Yeah, they could have taken it away in a direction where he's scary and overwhelming, but he's just like this bumbling, big dragon just knocking things down, and it was just trying to escape from him. But yeah, I love this movie from the beginning to the end.
I agree with that, and I think this is one that I would definitely watch again. And for me, this is probably one of those movies that I would keep, that I would own, to show other people, just because of how fun it is, and it's definitely going to get our family friendly rating too.
Definitely. Take your kids to see this. There might be a small amount of language, but nothing too crazy, and there might be some dark, scary parts, but yeah, I really don't think it's going to affect kids, younger kids, for having nightmares or anything. I don't think so. But
this is going to be interesting. I didn't realize that you were going to like this like I did. So we'll see. What's your rating?
I would probably give this one, I think maybe like a 9.
Wow, you're even going higher than me. I was going to say 8, and I think it's a pretty solid 8 for me. But wow, that's good.
I mean, just I think because it drew into the nostalgia factor for me with these adventure movies, where. Like I've said before, special effects have taken over a lot of movies, and people just think that if the movie is bright and it's just a spectacle, that it's going to be good, and that's not always the case. No. And so with this movie, there is a lot of CGI, and there's a lot of things going on, but the artists do a really good job of bringing this world together, compositing it together, to make you feel like you're a part of this world, to make you feel like you're part of this adventure.
And the actors, I think, do a good job too.
Yeah, they do a really good job of interacting.
Absolutely.
I wasn't taken out of the movie at all. Like my suspension of disbelief was not broken. So, but yeah.
Wow, we both recommend this one. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I love this movie.
You guys got to see it now.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah. Hey, and thank you again for sticking with us at the end of the show. We definitely appreciate it. It helps with us a lot.
Hope you were entertained. If you guys have any comments, I know that we've got a pretty good following right now, but if you have any comments and you want to share some things with us, some things you liked, give us some honest feedback, we'd really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, and let us know what your favorite 80s adventure movie was. There was so many. You got The Labyrinth, probably The Never-Ending Story. The list goes on with that whole thing. But let us know, and we'll see you guys next time.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye-bye.